What's up, guys? This is your friend here, Symbolic, and today I want to tell a story. Speaking of The Walking Dead and all that bullshit. Now, this story, I don't know how true it is. I don't know if it actually exists. I've heard, now this is, I'm just going to flat out say this is a rumor. I've heard this. One of them calls it the Philadelphia experiment, one of them calls it the zombie experiment. Now, what I'm telling you is I personally believe it because of the technology we have today. But, to be quite fucking honest, there was I'm 50-50 with this story. Now, me and my friend Stuttering Cow, we were on Xbox Live and we were talking and shit. And I'll explain the other guy who told me. And me and my friend Stuttering Cow, we were talking about zombies. And out of nowhere, he started telling this story about called the Philadelphia experiment. And I'm interested. What the fuck is this Philadelphia experiment shit? Tell a nigga. And he's just like, well, you see here in Philadelphia, they did this experiment where they got a freshly dead body, just recently died, and they brought it back to life. Doing some experiment, some electroshock experiment. He didn't even go into details. They said they brought it back to life. And then, all of a sudden, he says the body got up and rose. When the body was alive, the body awoke, it stood, it walked, it looked, it did everything a normal human does. It just didn't talk nor show emotions. It understood commands. It did what other people tell it to do. And if it's not telling people to do, it just walked around. They said the body wasn't violent. They said the person wasn't violent. He didn't do anything wrong or anything. He was just pretty much just a lifeless zombie. They would tell him to go over there and walk to that door. It will go over there and walk to that door. This was a reanimated dead corpse brought back to life. And if you didn't tell it to do anything, it walked around for, a couple. It walked around. It's pretty much just, walked in circles, walked there, and there. It wouldn't attack no one due to anything. It just obeyed commands. And the weird part is that after about a week, it died. They tried bringing it back again. It didn't come back. It stayed dead. And, that got me thinking, could possibly zombies really exist? And the fucked up part about this, I heard this story again. This is from another random nigga I ain't never met. His name was RuPaul. That was his gamer tag, RuPaul. We were talking on Xbox and shit. And he said the exact same story my friend Stuttering Cal said. And then I'm talking with this other nigga. And I'm just sitting here at, fucking Tommy Burgers, kicking it and shit. So one random white dude start talking to me and all that. I said, what's up, bro? He's like, want me to tell you something? I heard this zombie experiment. And this nigga said the same story. And I heard this from 3 different people. Key point. Stuttering Cow, I haven't talked to him in years. RuPaul is just some random gamer tag. I remembered it because it had the fucking gamer tag RuPaul, the drag queen. I remember the gamer tag. And the random white dude, he just started randomly talking to me all of a sudden. And that was odd. And here's one last case. Now, Resident Evil 5 just came out. And, I was in GameStop kicking it and shit. And she was waiting for Resident Evil 5. And we're Resident Evil fans. We're sitting here talking, right? It was this white girl, man. She had a nice ass. I think she was like either 15, 14. I was like 16, 17 at that time. I don't remember. And I was a teenager. I was in high school. And she started talking about the zombie experiment. She said the same story those other 3 people were saying. And I heard this story multiple times since then. Key point, I heard this shit years ago. This was like 2008, 2009. This was years ago. And, those stories are just accumulating in my head. I'm just sitting here thinking about it and shit. And, these are, and at this time, I don't even think The Walking Dead was out either. Like, I don't know when was it 2008 or 2009? I don't remember when The Walking Dead started. I'm guaranteed The Walking Dead wasn't out when these guys were talking about this shit too. This is years ago. And this shit's kind of creeping me out. Like, is this real? Because I heard this from multiple people. And, the 2 gamer tags, I think Stuttering Cow lives in New York. I don't know where RuPaul is. I don't know who the fuck he is. The two other girls, the two white guy I met in Tommy's and the white girl I met in GameStop, but during the Resident Evil, opening and all that shit. I met them in Los Angeles because that's where I reside. But yeah, that's where I met them. And I say to myself, could this be real? Is this fake? Am I tripping? Could I be tripping? I don't know. I heard this shit too many times. And I'm wondering, is it on YouTube? I haven't seen no trace on YouTube. Maybe this will be my first time telling it. But I heard this story. Now you don't have to believe me. Do I even believe the Philadelphia experiment exists? Well, let's take this in the note. In 1970, you can look this fucking shit up yourself. They took a monkey's head, chopped it off, preserved it, attached it to another monkey's body. You can look this up. It's actually a real experiment. And the monkey lived for exactly 4 weeks before the body, the body, detached from it, or, got away from, or, how do you say it? Detached from the host or some shit like that. Or the body rejected it. And, you can look this up. And this happened in the 1970s. Oh, hell, I'll probably give it, a link in description or, photo of it or whatever. But anyhow here, yeah. I believe if we did experiments like that in the 1970s, what's stopping us from reanimating corpses now and making zombies? Could zombies be very well possible? Very well. In the stories, I'm honestly say, I 50-50 believe it. I kind of do, and then I kind of don't. I really don't know. It's all up to you guys. You guys can think I'm lying. You think I'm bullshitting, but this is what the fuck I heard.